Hi, this is Annie Lupton of Boho Chic Fiber Co. And today I'm going to show you how to work a couple of the stitches from the Embossy Shawl pattern. And most of them are pretty straightforward, but a couple of them can be a little confusing when written out in words as in the pattern. So first I'm going to walk you through how to make this first embossed stitch, which I call a rosebud stitch in the pattern. And then after that, I will show you how to do the little pulled up V stitch. So let's go ahead and do that now. I have a little swatch prepared, and like I said, first I'll show you how to do that rosebud stitch. So when you're working the rosebud stitch, as a lot of embossed stitches, you're going to be working on a reverse stockinette background. So that's what I have here. And we're going to purl to the indicated stitch in the pattern, or if you're doing a swatch, just purl to the middle somewhere. And then once you get to that stitch, what you're going to do is you're going to be reaching down 4 stitches from this first stitch on the left hand needle. So you can see, like, in between each stitch is a little hole. We're going to be going 4 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And in that hole, you're going to reach through. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to reach your needle in that hole. Go to the back of your work where your strand of yarn is. Loop it around and pull it through to the front of your work. So you pulled up yarn from the back to the front and you put it on your right hand needle. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go down 3 spaces, which is the hole that's right above the one you just reached in before. And you're going to do the same thing from the back, pull a strand of yarn through to the front. Just one. Oh, sorry. Okay. So we have 2 on our right hand needle now. So we have one that was first pulled 4 spaces down. The second one we pulled 3 spaces down. And then the final one we're going to go again 4 spaces down, which is the one we originally pulled out of. So we'll pull that through there. So now we have 3 stitches that we've pulled up from our work. And then after that, you're going to purl 2 together, which is going to keep your stitch count consistent. So then we're going to purl to the end of the row. And on the wrong side of our work, it's going to look a little different. You won't see the stitches as much. We're going to knit to where we pulled up those stitches. And when you get to those pulled up stitches, you're going to purl all 3 of them. And then knit to the end. And then on the final row of the rosebud, you're going to be decreasing the stitches we purled up back down to make the stitch count consistent again. So we're going to purl to that space again. And now once we've gotten to our 3 pulled up stitches that on the wrong side row we purled, we're going to work a central double decrease, which is just slipping the first 2 stitches knitwise to your right hand needle. And then we're going to knit that final stitch. And then we're going to pass these 2 slip stitches over that one. So now we're back down to 1 stitch again. And then we'll purl across the row. So you can see this is what your rosebud is going to look like. It's raised off the surface of your fabric, and it creates a little cute little rosebud. So I'm gonna just tear back to show you how to work the V stitch now, just for the sake of time. And put my stitches back on my needle. So for the V stitch, we're going to be pulling up stitches in a very similar way that we did with the rosebud stitch. But I figured I could show you just to make it simple for you. So again, we're going to purl to the indicated stitch in the pattern. And the pattern is going to tell you to pull up 1 stitch and to pull it up from 4 rows below, just like we did for the rosebud. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to pull up 1 stitch. And then what we're going to do is, oops, I can't remember now if we purl or knit. I think we purl. And then we purl 1 in the middle. And then we're going to pull up 1 final stitch, but we're going to not do it from the next stitch. We're going to do it from the previous one that we already purled up. So you should kind of see how it's tugging, and you should see that hole really easily now. We're going to pull up from that stitch again, from that same space, the same way that we did, reaching through, wrapping it around, and pulling it to the front. So now we've pulled up 2 stitches, and they're on our right hand needle, separated by the one in the middle that we purled. And we're going to work to the end of the row. And then on the wrong side of our work, we're going to knit to the stitch that we pulled up, the first one, and we're going to purl that first one. And then the stitch in between them, we're going to knit. And then that final pulled up stitch, we're going to purl again. And then we're just going to knit to the end. And to finish this one, on the right side of our work, and in the pattern it will tell you how many stitches to work, but for the sake of the swatch, we're just going to purl to 1 stitch before our V stitch. So you can see here we have our pulled up V stitch, 1 stitch before. We're going to purl those 2 together, purl the center stitch, and then we're going to purl the next 2 stitches, which is one of the pulled up and the one after it. We're going to purl those together through the back loop, and we just do that so that the stitch will lay correctly the right direction, because if we purled it together instead of through the back loop, it would have a little bit different of a look, and this helps it to lay flat and to be symmetrical. So I'm just going to knit the next row so you can kind of see it after this. Okay, so now you can see our little V's that we pulled up. So I hope that these videos were helpful for you. And the other embossed stitches in the pattern are pretty straightforward in terms of how they're written, and just making stitches and decreasing them and wrapping them. So I hope that this helps clarify a little bit. And if you have any other questions or concerns, you can leave me a comment below, and I'll do my best to help you out. Thanks. Bye.